What's up, Rowe Middle School? While it is important that we acknowledge and recognize the contributions of Black people in our communities all year, in the month of February, we are going to be celebrating Black excellence as a school.
The story of Black History Month begins in 1915, half a century after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Today, Black History Month is a time to honor contributions and legacy African Americans across U.S. history and society, from activists and civil rights pioneers such as Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, to leaders in industry, politics, science, culture, and more.
It's important for us to become familiar with more names, learn about more people, and get others talking about the significant work that so many people have done and or are still doing to promote the work of social justice.
Throughout our halls, you are going to see some individuals whose excellence has made or is making the mark on our world. We will have our own walking history museum. Now let's begin our tour.
This is Amanda Gorman. She is the youngest inaugural poet in American history. She has written 2 books. One is a children's book called Change Sing. The other is a book of her poetry called The Hill We Climb.
LeBron James. LeBron James is one of the best players in basketball today. He's an incredible combination of skills, strength, leaping ability, and height that makes him one of the best athletes in the world. He is one of the youngest players to be drafted in the NBA #1 at age 18. He is a man of his community. One of the biggest contributions is opening up the I Promise School in his hometown, Akron, Ohio. This is a public school currently serving kids in grades 3 to 8.
Audre Lorde. She was famous for her strong poems about racism and love. She was born almost blind and was tongue-tied. At the age of 4, she learned how to read and talk.
This is Dr. Kesmikia S. Corbett, Assistant Professor of Immunology and Infectious Diseases at Harvard University. She is a researcher and developer of the coronavirus vaccines. She continues to work on battling misinformation surrounding vaccines.
Winnie Harlow, she's a Canadian fashion model. She's a public spokesperson on the skin condition vitiligo, a skin condition that depigments portions of the skin. She gained public attention by participating on America's Top Model in 2014.
Michael P. Anderson completed his first space shuttle mission during January 22nd through 31st, 1998 with the Endeavour. On the second mission, Anderson and his 6 fellow crew members were killed in the space shuttle Columbia disaster when the craft disintegrated during its re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
Louise Greenfield, American children's book and biography author and poet famous for her descriptive style. Greenfield was quoted, "I want my books to be enable Black children to realize how beautiful and smart they are. I wanted to write books that inspired them, that made them laugh and be happy." She wrote 48 books.
This is Jesse Owens, one of the greatest athletes in the history of Olympic sports. He broke barriers by winning 4 gold medals and setting records at the 1936 Berlin Games. The Jesse Owens Award is given out annually to the top track and field athlete in the United States.
Georgia Forrest was the first woman with albinism to be signed to a major modeling company. She's also been in multiple national and international fashion shows. She's also been the cover of multiple magazines.
This is Marsha P. Johnson. Marsha P. Johnson was a transgender advocate for gay rights, best known for her involvement in the Stonewall Uprising, which was a series of spontaneous protests. She selected the middle initial of P for Pay It No Mind. She dealt with homelessness, mental health issues, and police brutality throughout her life. She managed to leave behind a legacy of positivity by establishing one of the first LGBTQ plus youth shelters and providing basic needs for anyone struggling around her.
This is Shirley Chisholm. She began her career as a teacher. In 1968, Chisholm became the first African American to earn election to Congress. In 1972, she became the first Black candidate for a major party nomination for the President of the United States, and the first woman to run for the Democratic Party's nomination. She fought for equal rights for women, minorities, immigrants, and the poor.
Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson invented the Super Soaker, worked on and engineered spacecrafts that went to Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn. Also joined the Air Force.
Sydney Barber is the first African-American woman to serve as a brigade commander at the United States Naval Academy and going to school to become a mechanical engineer, and is a talented singer as well.
Bessie Coleman, first female African American and Native American pilot ever to hold an international pilot license. Participated in air shows, which made her popular, that she went on to give flying lessons and encourage women to learn to fly. One of her most favorite quotes, "I refuse to take no for an answer," sums up her life perfectly.
This is Simone Biles. She was a natural gymnast who started teaching herself to flip backwards off mailboxes as a little kid. She's the first female gymnast to win 3 world all-around titles in a row. She's also the first black gymnast to become the world all-around champion. She has ADHD and wants to be an advocate for others and hopes that people are not ashamed of the diagnosis.
This is Ruby Bridges. After acing a test, she was chosen along with 6 other African American students to attend an all-white school. Ruby was the only one who ended up attending and became the first to integrate the all-white elementary school. In 2001, she received the Presidential Citizens Medal, which recognizes citizens who have performed excellent acts of service for the nation.
Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin is a leader in social environments for civil rights, socialism, and gay rights. He was a close advisor to Martin Luther King Jr. and one of the most influential and effective organizers on the March in Washington.
Matthew Henson, co-discoverer of the North Pole with Robert Edwin Perry in 1909. He was an author of 2 books.
Aretha Franklin, self-taught musician who learned to play the piano by ear, has won 18 Grammys, had 112 singles on the Billboard charts, and sold over 75 million records worldwide. She was the first female performer inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and remains the most charted female artist in history.
Andrea Jenkins, known for being the first black opening transgender woman elected to be public office in the United States, went into office with the focus to change the disparities of white and black Americans, especially in Minnesota.
George Washington Carver, born into slavery and was kidnapped by slave raiders and was found as an infant and raised by Moses Carver, scientist and an inventor who found hundreds of uses for peanuts. He developed over 300 products from peanuts. Carver was the first African American to earn a bachelor's degree.
Maya Angelou, she published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, plays, movies, and television shows, and even Hallmark cards. She spoke 6 languages. Advice to remember: I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Thanks for learning alongside us.
Our question for you, Rowe, is how will you make your mark?
How will you be remembered?
What's your legacy?
Let us know and we'll add it here.